Good morning, everybody. This is SuzyQ and the SuzyQ Report for February the 28th. It is Friday, the 28th. And yes, this is February. This is leap year. So that means that tomorrow is the 29th. We do have the leap day is this year. It's interesting because I had a former mother-in-law, and her birthday was on leap day, so she'd have a birthday every 4 years. So it was kind of interesting. But so then I'm thinking, well, when you go into the restaurants when they give you free meals for your birthday, I said, what do you do? But she has two options. She can go in on the 28th and get free meals. She can go on the 1st and get free meals. So she's actually got it pretty good. But anyway, all right. And I'm also wearing red. I mean, this looks orange on the screen, but I'm wearing my red shirt, which supports our military. Friday, red. We wear red to show our support to the men and women who have been fighting for our nation, to support our way of life, and who protect us. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And so if you see a lot of people with red shirts on today, that's what they're doing, most likely. I also want to thank the men and women in law enforcement and our first responders. I'm telling you, you are a godsend. And I'm sure it's getting crazy right now with all this scare on the news. But we are there. We support you 110%. So I want to go back to talking about the coronavirus. I know I put a video out the other day because I'm like, this is craziness. This is craziness. They are putting fear in our country deliberately, I believe deliberately, which is affecting our economy. We have a great economy, and it will stay that way. The president is not going to let the stupid virus and the fear mongering behind it bring us down. But our stock market, it tumbled 1,200 points last night, and then this morning wake up is like 2,000 down. But who gets the advantage of that? I know I see an article, Breitbart posted an article about Patricia Arquette urges one-day economic shutdown to hurt President Trump. Yes, when you put out that fear-mongering news and people react in a panicking way, it affects our stock market. That is what they want. That's what they wanted for months. They have said it probably in the last couple of years. They've made comments because they knew that a sitting president who has a wonderful economy, a great economy, is most likely, they've always been reelected. And this is what they fear, is that President Trump will be reelected and finish the job he started by cleaning up the government, by draining the swamp, by bringing down this deep state. And that's what he's doing. And that's what they are terrified about. They're losing their power, their control, the manipulation of our government, of the minds and beliefs of the American people. The people are waking up to their lies and deception. I mean, what are they doing? I mean, it's the fear-mongering news that has blown this whole coronavirus up and magnified it. Because on an average year, the regular flu season, it kills about 400,000 people, over 400,000 people worldwide. We haven't even come to that point, okay? I mean, but the thing is if you focus on it and you magnify it, then it's going to look like the biggest thing that's hit the news. And that's what they do. They magnify on this and make it bigger than what it is. I'm not saying don't be wise and wash your hands and take precautions and get your rest and eat healthy and all the things you should do to maintain a healthy body, to resist it. Don't cough in people's faces. Don't, sneeze in your arm, your elbow or whatever that we were told to do, but don't panic. Don't react. They want you to react and panic. They want you to take your money out of the stock market because they benefit by the stock market crumbling and this economy weakening. That's what they want. They have gone on record saying that they wish they want this, they want a recession so that the president will get voted out. They have been on record. I could probably pull up a few quotes from different Hollywood stars and people in the media that have said that. But what we need to do is look at this logically. Okay, so they said they got 8,400 people being monitored for flu-like symptoms. Flu-like symptoms. How many illnesses have flu-like symptoms? Even in the because I've worked in natural medicine before, and I've had a health food store and stuff. When people are changing their diet and eating healthier, or changing the way they live, a lot of times the initial result is their body produces flu-like symptoms, because it's their body reacting to the changes, the healthy changes, and getting rid of the old changes, and they have flu-like symptoms. Then you've got, of course, the regular flu, the common flu that, people get every year, or I rebuke that, because I have not had the flu in over 20 years. But people, say, oh, well, it's flu time, flu season, which I think a lot of that is marketing and bringing awareness so that people are more susceptible to it. Because if they believe it, you can actually change your physical being by the beliefs in your head. There is science proof to back that up. So if they can convince you it's that time of year that that everybody gets the flu, then you're opening the door to believing that and it manifesting in your life. I believe that. I believe that 110%. But, we can't just block out everything. We're going to hear stuff come through our media sources, our radio, our computer, whatever, but we have to filter that with truth. The truth of it is that I refuse it, I resist it, and I have scriptures to back that up with. So I always go back to my source. My source is my scriptures that says, no weapon formed against me shall prosper, no evil shall befall me, nor shall any plague or calamity come nigh my dwelling. So I stand on that word. I believe that more than I believe the fake news, fear-mongering reports. Okay? And I'm not saying that I have arrived yet. I am still progressing, and I'm still growing, and I'm still building up my faith. But I'm not going to be moved by everything that comes down fake news media to attack me or to put fear in me. And this is the same media that for 3.5 years have been pushing a fake Russia collusion narrative over and over again, and it was proven to be fake, and they're still putting it out. They're still putting it out. This is the same fake news that has been proven to have lied and manipulated information to create a bias or create a certain belief in the masses, okay? This is the same media who took the impeachment trial and created a narrative and misinformation and spread it out to the public so that to change their opinions or to make them believe some things that they want them to believe. This is the same media that put out story after story that the New York Times had to come in and correct, or the Washington Post was found to be misleading. This is the same media that James O'Keefe has shown that they have bias and they have agendas behind their stories. So why would you trust your life and your life savings to the same fake media? I'm telling you, this is craziness. It's craziness to put your life and your well-being and your financial well-being based on fake news, fear news that sells, that controls, that people are willing to give up their rights, give up their protections, give up their finances They hand them over in a time of panic. Things that they would never do if they were thinking in their right mind and they were thinking logically. Okay, so you've got to stop and said, what makes sense? Does this make sense? Does this not make sense? Is there another agenda behind this news? Don't just take it hook, line, and sinker just because you heard it on all these news. We have shown over and over again how news can be manipulated and how they drop an article or a news source, and you've noticed word for word it is disseminated and spread across the media. I mean, down to the same words, key words. That's not by coincidence. That's intentional. That's intentional. It's called the echo chamber. If they put it out there enough and they spread it out to different sources enough, then you're going to believe it, because that's how they brainwash a population, is by repeating the same story over and over in multiple different avenues. So it doesn't give you a chance to think, stop, and evaluate it, compare it to other sources. No. That's dangerous. That's dangerous, for the people, for our nation. You need to think for yourself. You can listen to what they have to say, but then take other sources and compare it. Use your common sense. I use the Spirit of God to confirm things. You don't have to believe that if you don't want to, but that's how I do. But that's how it keeps me on course, and it keeps me from getting into fear or getting into pride or getting into this area, that area. It keeps me straight and aligned. I'm not saying that I don't go sway back a bit for a little bit, but I get back on paths, back on the truth. But we just need to slow down, calm down. And like I said, Patricia Arquette urged one-day economic shutdown to hurt Trump. They want an economic shutdown. They want an economic collapse or downturn in the market or whatever, because these people that's got the big money, they'll come in there and buy up all this stuff, and they've made billions of dollars, while the other people are handing it over, and their whole savings is being transferred from their hands into these multi-billionaires' hands, because of a fear, because of what's coming out in the news and what people react to. And it also undermines this presidency. And that is their ultimate goal, is to undermine and bring down this presidency, because he is doing so much damage to their lies and manipulation and their control that they are desperate. So they will burn down the globe if they have to regain that control, regain the losses that they've experienced since he's been in presidency, to regain the White House power, to regain the global network that he has been breaking down. So you got to stop and think of it like, who does it benefit when America is panicking and selling off their assets? Who is benefiting? How is it changing the scope of the global global situation? But anyway, I just want to encourage you, don't panic. Don't go out and sell off all your assets because of news articles. Think logically. This is going to pass. This too shall pass. The thing that you got to ask yourself is, how am I going to come on the other side? Am I going to have lost a lot of money in the stock market because I reacted in fear? Am I going to, be dictated by fear? Or am I going to be, ruled by faith, ruled by solid, logical sense? Those things you got to ask yourself. But I encourage you to pray. This is actually, to me, I see this as a powerful time in history, that those who are of faith, they can practice their faith. They say, you know what? I believe this is where you're going to weed out the true believers versus the maybe not so, solid believers. Because this is the time to say, well, I'm going to believe the word or I'm not going to believe the word. There's only really two options. And I want to be faithful. I want to be faithful for what God's done in my life, and I want to be faithful to his word. And this is an opportunity to prove your faith, to stand by the faith that you have, you say that you believe in. So this is an awesome time to be alive, because I see strongholds being broken. I see in China, the China military is weakened by this crisis. The Iranian military and the Iranian government is being weakened by this crisis. People are seeing it for what it is. They're seeing the truth that their governments aren't the answers to the situation. I mean, I see that this is a way for God to be moving, because we're hearing all sorts of testimonies from China that God has spared and protected people who have stood on his word. I mean, as bad as it sounds, there's always, God uses what the enemy meant for harm and turns it around for good. And I see that. So we have to look at it from God's perspective, not from fear-mongering, not from our enemy's perspective, because they want to tear down what God is building up. And I believe that what's going on in America, what the president is doing, is to bring down these strongholds, whether it's deep state, whether it's corrupt politicians, whether it's, crazy Hollywood people or whatever. And he is arising an army of people, believers, people who are patriots, who love this country. He is bringing them up, and he is removing those who are actively trying to destroy a country. So you have to look at it from a higher perspective, and don't be manipulated by the fake news, the fear-mongering fake news. All right, this is Suzanne. I have got to run, but you have a wonderful day. And remember, support our military. Wear red. This still looks orange to me. But anyway, wear red. And just trust. God's got this under control. The president has got this under control. They are making it way bigger than the news. Those who want to destroy our country is making it way bigger than what it is. So just have faith. All right, this is SuzyQ signing out. You have a wonderful day and enjoy your Friday. Bye-bye.